harm. Implant understanding in the heart of the enemy, that they may return the captives in wholeness of body and spirit. Grant wisdom to the Israel Defense Forces, that they may secure freedom for the captive without a loss of life. Grant strength of spirit and courage of heart to all the sons and daughters of Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar, to release bonds of captivity and to allow us to live in freedom. They shall call upon me, and I will answer them. I will be with them in distress. I will rescue them and honor them. There are poems for peace that I have added to this packet, but we're going to suspend those. Even though we have prayed for peace, those particular poems, I'm going to ask that you hold them at home in hope for when this conflict ends, because we're not at the brink of peace right now. We need to pray for chazak ve'amatz, strength and courage. I want to be able to have us do some personal sharing. I want to add one word, because I love Israel. And Hamas is so evil, and Hamas must go. And I was so proud of an interview that an Israeli soldier had with a BBC reporter who just wanted to focus on the suffering of the Palestinians in Gaza, and just what kept, in an obviously biased way, kept honing in on that. Like, will you uphold the rules of war? Will you? He kept hammering away at that, and the soldier said, yes, of course, we are going to follow our values. We're going to follow, we have our values. We are not them. And I loved how the Israeli soldier said, we're moral. This is how he said it. He says, of course we're going to follow our values. We're going to follow our values. We're Jews. We're Jewish. We are Jewish equals we are moral. We have moral standards that we will follow that they didn't. I found that an incredible moment of pride for me as I was watching this soldier stand up to this reporter. I'll add one more thing, and then I want us to go through, and I want you to think of a word or three. Not everybody has to do so, but anybody who wants to just can say a word or three about how you're feeling and what you're carrying around on your chest right now. Not your op-ed, not your editorial, not your news analysis. I've had enough news analysis. But what you're feeling in your body, in your soul. Because I am physically tired and mentally exhausted. Right? I'm an anxious mess. But I have a bat mitzvah tomorrow, and I'm going to celebrate like you wouldn't believe. I want to add that in Massachusetts, we are welcoming people from all over the world proudly, warmly. We are embracing people, even though we are struggling with it. People from Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Honduras and Venezuela who have no place to go, and we're welcoming them. And we're sheltering them, and we're providing for them, and we're excited that they are going to be part of our commonwealth. They're going to enrich our communities. They're going to enrich Sharon. And I contrast my donation of diapers that I gave today with the Egyptian refusal to open the Rafah crossing, where they could, if they wanted to, save hundreds of thousands of lives. But they refuse. They could, just like Massachusetts refuge law, where we welcome women with children and pregnant women, they could do just that and save hundreds of thousands of lives, and they refuse because they know they won't be held accountable, that only Israel is going to get blamed. First of all, they could save pikuach nefesh, hundreds of thousands of lives, full stop. But I can't help but notice the appalling double standard that is anti-Semitic. Egypt gets hundreds of millions of dollars of aid from the US. Egypt isn't a democracy. Egypt has a terrible track record with human rights violations. Where's the outrage? Where are the demonstrations? Where's the condemnation of them not opening the humanitarian corridor? If we can do it here in Massachusetts, why can't they do it there? Why can't they use their army as humanitarian workers instead of blocking the crossing? But it all gets unfairly placed on Israel. So I ask us to think critically. We are not them. Our hearts break for any child. But those children are just as much Hamas's victims. Hamas's victims, as were the victims of the barbarity that we saw. And I'm afraid it's much worse than what we really saw that was allowed on video. So I'm feeling tired. I just want to take a moment, and I'll repeat for people who are joining us. And CP, if you could make sure the chat is open so that if you're joining us online and you want to write in a word or three of how you are feeling, you can do that too, and you can be connected with us that way because you are part of our congregation and you're praying with us right now. So how are you really feeling in your soul? Exhausted, scared, heavy, concerned, angry, and frustrated. So sad, incredibly sad, sad. Grateful that we can be here tonight. Angry, broken up, still hopeful, horrified and worried, anxious, tired, vulnerable. Others. Proud, hurting, helpless, angry and brokenhearted, revolted, disappointed. What was it? Sad and depressed. Thank you. Proud and brokenhearted. Traumatized, anxious, and sad. I feel all of it at the same time. Very sad and frightened. Shock. Angry. Confused. Proud of being brought up as a Jew. Am Yisrael Chai. Upset with people that blame Israel. All of these. Sickened and angry. Sure. Disappointed. Broken, heartbroken, numb, overwhelmed, and worried. Numb. Despair, desperate, fearful. Other. Very sad. Others? I feel like you're carrying the weight of our whole community, not just your own, but the weight of the whole community. This sanctuary, every synagogue can carry all of those feelings. We can have all of those feelings. There is room for all of those feelings in all of our sanctuaries. It can hold it, it won't break. We can have all of those feelings. And we need to be able to be together. Don't let me struggle alone. Don't let me struggle alone. Let's take a deep breath. I want to ask that if you are here to say, well, let me put it this way, we're all here to say Kaddish. I was going to say, if you're here to say Kaddish for this week, come up to help me open up the ark doors, but that should be all of you, because we are in deep mourning.